Okay guys, so here's the photo that we're going to be working with today. I shot this at a studio in downtown LA, and overall I love the image, but it just came out way too dark. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to bring up the shadows and do a lot of simple edits in Lightroom just to make the photo lighter and make it look better. Okay, so very quickly, I just wanted to show you guys what the settings were on my camera. I was using my 50mm lens. My ISO was at 200 and I had an f-stop of 2.8 while my shutter speed was at 1 and 250th of a second. So what I like to do is I like to play with the highlights and the shadows. I don't really do too much with exposure and contrast. So we're gonna raise the shadows up a little bit, and as you can see it already makes a big difference. So we're gonna put that at 20, maybe 25. Let's see, I like 20. So we'll stay there. And then I want her highlights to stay. Normally I would bring them down a little bit, but I really like the way that they look. So I'm just going to bring them up just a tad. So we'll bring that to 10. I want the white wall to stand out a little bit more, so I'm going to bring that up as well. And then her black outfit, I really want that to be darkened just a little bit. So we'll bring that down to 15. So plus 15 on the white wall, negative 15 on the blacks. We'll play with clarity, vibrance, and saturation in a little bit, but first I want to use the tone curve just to really brighten it up a little bit more. So I always start in the middle and just raise it up just a tad. As you can see, the overall brightness of the image is so much better now. And I really like the matte look on my photos, so I'm going to bring up the darker areas just a little bit. And then I'm also going to put a point in the center and just bring down the darkest darks to make them closer to black. So as you can see, like that really made a difference in the image. So now I'm just going to boost up the clarity just a little bit. I usually like to stay at 25 for portraits. Less maybe, but I'm also going to make it a little warmer, just so that we can warm up her skin, and I really like how the overall image is looking so far. And then we're gonna really boost up the vibrance. I really like to have the image just looking so vibrant, but also bringing down the saturation just a tad. Okay, so now that we're done with that, I might bring up the whites just a little bit more. I really like having just a solid white background, so bringing up the whites really does make a difference, and I really like it. So just play around with it, see what you like. Next, I'm going to be raising up the saturation in her lips. You could just do it right here on the red using the arrow keys on your keyboard, or you can use this little gadget. Scroll over the color that you want and then just click down, and with the mouse you can just raise it or lower it. So I'm really liking how that looks. I don't think there's any other color other than red in here, so we're just going to leave that there. I also want to bring up the luminance in the lips, so I'm just going to scroll over and try to brighten that up a little bit more. And then I also want her skin just to be a little bit brighter, so go ahead and do that. And I'm really liking how it's looking. With other portraits I would use split toning, but we're not using it today, so I'm just going to sharpen it just a little bit more, and then we're going to mask it. And I like to do this just so that the only areas that are in white are the ones that are the sharpest and the most prominent. And then I'm just going to bring up the noise reduction just because I have an older camera, so it tends to have a lot of noise on it, on my screen. I don't know what people see normally, but gonna do a little bit vignette. Doesn't really make a difference, but I like to have it on there. Okay, so I'm pretty much done editing this photo. Let me go ahead and show you guys the before and after. So you can see the photo on the left, it was really dark, and we just brought up the shadows and made the whites really white. And overall, I just really love the tone of the image. I think it looks really great. Normally what I would do for a portfolio shot, I would go back and do some facial editing, just, you know, really subtle things, maybe brighten up the eyes, soften up the skin. But for today, we're just going to go over the basic Lightroom edits. So if you guys would like to see how I do my portrait editing, just leave a comment below. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe, and I'll try to do another editing in under 5 minutes video for you guys.